Most of the world looks at me like I'm not part of your club. It's a very negative world for being transgender because nobody ever truly accepts us the way we want to be accepted.
Are you ever afraid at this point in your life?
I've had people jump me and try to stomp me and try to kill me. As I'm walking down the street, I got hit in the back of the head and knocked out. So based on my appearance, based on how I looked, they didn't exchange even one single word with me. They just saw me and knocked me out, and then they started stomping me and trying to kill me. But the worst thing was all those people watching, and that's what lasted the longest. That's what I still remember. They were standing there watching and wouldn't even lend a hand. They were watching another human being getting stomped to death in the streets of America. What are you doing? Did you get it? Did you get that? Is that tasty? That's Lily's spot. She always sits right by me. My name is Kristen Beck. I was born Christopher Beck. I am the first open transgender Navy SEAL. This is not a choice, and this is not something that you can try to beat out of somebody or Bible out of somebody. This is who I am.
To serve at the level that Kristen has served at, yeah, it's unbelievable. And then to have basically bad stuff thrown at you 24/7 and then be assaulted because of what you are or what you've been, and that's unacceptable.
She's just like you and I. She's like everybody. She's not different. You should respect people for what they can do in life, not based on the way that they look or that they dress.
Hi, doggy. It's a tough life. And who chooses a life of ridicule or of this torment or of possibly death? You're gonna get killed for being transgender. And so, yeah, I'm gonna be vulnerable. I'm gonna let you know the goods and the bads. And some of it's pretty ugly. So yeah, I'm gonna tell my story. And Kristen Beck is a lot of things. A farmer, a wife, a father. Kristen Beck also used to be a husband and a football player. Also a bearded Navy SEAL working behind the lines in Afghanistan. The SEAL teams, that's the toughest of the tough. That's the top dudes in the military. So that's what I had to do.
Look from the low ready, going up, shoot from the low ready.
She's a combat soldier, you know, and she's seen a lot of it.
Drop.
She's a hell of a person.
We served our country. We laid our blood on the line. If it wasn't for persons like Kristen who served on the front lines, you know, I just couldn't imagine where we would be at right now.
I was a very technical and very
This is one of the newest night vision scopes we have in the team.
undercover SEAL. They used to call me Caveman, that was my nickname. Seems like my whole life was undercover. So growing up on a farm in the 70s, and when you're a kid on a farm, it's not like being an adult on a farm because you're not doing all the work. So you see like the fun stuff and you see the stuff that you have in movies. I grew up in the 70s. Now this is a time before internet, a time before social media. For me, I was isolated, I was alone. I knew who I was. I knew who Kristen was when I was very, very young. Maybe 4 years old, 5 years old. I knew who I was. I was 100% living in fear that something would slip or I'd make a mistake or that I would be an outcast. So I learned how to be a spy really young and how to cover stuff up. I would find some of my sister's clothes and I would put them in some hiding spots and I would have those. And then I would wear them once in a while and then I would be fighting and it was almost like fighting within myself and fighting my own thoughts and fighting who I wanted to be, but I couldn't. Because I would like, okay, I'm not gonna do it anymore. And I would get rid of everything. And then after a month or 2 months, it would just be gnawing at me and I'd be thinking about it all the time. So yes, I was ashamed. And yes, I was afraid. And yes, I was confused. And on the outside, I was just trying as hard as I could just to be that young boy and do everything that I was supposed to do. And so all I had was that model just to follow after my dad, my brother, and all the other people around me, football and wrestling and all the other stuff. It's such a hard way to grow up. As a grade schooler, I was an easy target for bullies. And I started fighting the bullies. And I started defending other people against those same bullies for whatever reason they were picked on. And so that's what I saw my mission as, fighting for justice. So at a very young age, I knew the military is where I wanted to go.
So right here, he's not really going to be able to do very much because I have a lot of control on him right here. If he starts trying to struggle, I bar him right
to really be Captain America and defend justice.
And put pressure on the eye, and he starts not responding, I can do a lot to him.
Transgender people join the military at almost twice, 2 times the number of the rest of the population. My goal in activism is for America to live up to what the forefathers wanted. It's that every person is created equal. We have all this written down on paper for a couple 100 years, and we have yet to live up to these words. So for both trans men and trans women, the military is a good place to hide. You're kind of not male or female, there's no gender. You're one. You're just part of the bigger machine.
What do you want to do? Open presents first. Well, let's have some breakfast. And then we'll sit down and open presents.
I got married and had kids, 2 boys in my first marriage, and they were born in 1998 and 2000. So it was just before the war. And then 9/11 happened and I went off to that war and I deployed and I was gone for a long time. So I hardly ever saw him for like the first, 4 years, 5 years. And every time I did come home, I was like this angry, bearded Viking, and I was drinking beer and kind of riding my motorcycle and being a jerk. And I'd look back on it now and yeah, I was a jerk. I wasn't a very good father and I wasn't a very good husband. And I know it was difficult for them. And especially now that I can think back in those times, and I wish I could have done better, and I know it's all messed up and you can't make up for it. But I try, or at least build something new. But they're 18 and 19-year-olds now. They have their own lives. And I'm not part of that life either, and I wish I could be. It was like a breaking point. It was like I'm done being everything everyone else wants to be, but nothing for myself. So it's time for me to start living. And so my life kind of started in 2011 when I retired. The first time I was able to leave my house and I was able to dress up and try to be more of what I saw myself as, being Christian, being feminine, it was super scary. I left the house and I ran to the car, and you drive around town and you almost dare to get out of the car and go into a store. And you're too afraid to do it. So you don't get out of the car and you just drive home and you run back in the house. Then the next time you do a little bit more. Because this is something that, it's life altering.
She tries to get as many people that she can to understand her journey and her transition.
It's like the stereotypes of everything that has to do with being transgender is always about makeup and clothing. And so that's all the exterior stuff. It's only like a small part of being transgender. It's my expression to the outside world to see me differently. Because in the spirit and the intellectual and the very deep and everything I think about, I already changed that. But then again, it didn't change, because I was always this. The image of God is not this skin. God's image is not your color. God's image is not your gender. God's image is not your height or your weight or how long your hair is or the clothing you wear. God's image is a deep inside of your soul. It's your spirit, it's your soul. I knew I was going to lose friends and family, and I'd probably lose my job, and I'd probably end up homeless, and I'd probably get killed in the streets. That's the expectations of a transgender person. And I have people tweeting about, all of your medals should be removed and you should drink bleach, And the worst ones are when they say you should just kill yourself, you're so broken that we're better off with you just being dead. it gets pretty tough sometimes.
Try to walk a mile in her shoes. You know, it's not an easy thing to do. And it took a lot of courage and a lot of guts to do what she did. Leave it alone and embrace it.
I was just wondering, like, for a women's platform to reach out to you, what was it like when we reached out?
I was like, wait, because you're saying you're a woman and you're part of a role model for other women. And I'm going, so it's kind of like a breath of fresh air that finally there's some people out there who actually will just say, no, you're one of us. We want to hear your story. That was life-altering because now the audience was huge and I was getting thousands of emails from Italy and France and Germany and New Zealand, Australia, and a lot from Canada. Everything I've done has built up to this, to be able to voice for the voiceless. I meet people in the street and I go, oh my God, you're Kristen Beck, and I was getting ready to commit suicide and I saw your movie, or I read this, or I saw that, and it gave me hope that I should just keep going.
She's a hero to so many people. Just the lives that she saved from kids that are transgender and they just don't know what to do or where to turn to, and then they see Kristen's story. They can live and they can keep going on.
And I have parents that their kid is transgender, their child is transgender, and the parents are saying how much that my story gave them hope that they can do something with their life. And the message is, you are not alone. But it's not really so much of the award, it's the validation. So that I have all of these organizations validating the fact that what I'm saying is correct.
This is no longer the 20s or the 30s. This is a new episode in all of our lives. It's called openness. It's called united.
When I used to look in the mirror and I had the big beard and I was caveman, or in my SEAL team days, I would look in the mirror and I would see that Navy SEAL, and it was good. Because I had a mission.
Almost like the weapon retention.
And then after I retired, I was like, that's not my mission anymore. And so when I look in the mirror like today, I'm free because this is the whole person, which is a lot.
She's the same person she was in the SEALs, and she's the same person she will always be. I love her for who she is.
I'm a sheepdog fighting for people that can't fight for themselves. I'm a sheepdog fighting for equality. I'm a sheepdog fighting for the weak and disenfranchised.
If we want to be known as a united front or force, you have to believe and understand those different walks. Because we all are protectors of this world.
For kids, especially when they're growing up, that they can see someone that they can say, that person is just like me, and they were a Navy SEAL. You know, it gives them somebody to look up to, that they can be something more, that you can do more with your life.
We don't care whether you're white, black, pink, purple, male, female, whatever. This is where you belong. This is exactly where you belong.
The truth is, we are the same. And we shed all of this ego, we shed all of the pretensions, we shed all of the hang-ups and everything else. And then we truly become one race, the human race.
I've trained her to sit and stay, just to sit command. So